Hello, this lecture is about Reconstruction in Arkansas. By the end of the Civil War, Arkansas was politically and economically destroyed, in part due to Union efforts and in part due to guerrilla tactics and lawlessness pursued by rival groups within the state. Reconstruction was a time of bitter feelings that remained long after the war and affected events into the 20th century. Our objective today is to describe the effects of the Civil War and the steps taken as Arkansas rejoined the Union during the Reconstruction period. This should include an overview of leading individuals during the process. 2 Reconstructions. Reconstruction refers to that time when the United States struggled to recover from the Civil War. It was a complex time with many facets. There were 2 major phases of Reconstruction: presidential Reconstruction and congressional or radical Reconstruction. Presidential Reconstruction was characterized by a relatively lenient policy toward the former Confederate States. The goal of President Lincoln and his successor, President Johnson, was to reunite the country and normalize relations between the North and the South. Congressional Reconstruction followed presidential Reconstruction. It was punitive to former Confederate states. Congress sought revenge on those who fought against the Union. Martial law, limitation of citizens' rights of former rebel soldiers and their leaders, and similar actions were part of the congressional program. In Arkansas, the only delegate to the Secession Convention in 1861 who refused to support secession and who later became the first Reconstruction governor in 1864 was Pennsylvania-born Isaac Murphy. Leaders who came in from northern states to govern were known as carpetbaggers. Generally, they sought to help the former slaves adjust to their newfound freedom and to assist impoverished white citizens. A federal program designed to help was known as the Freedmen's Bureau. Powell Clayton was the carpetbag governor who, between 1868 and 1872, supported public education, railroads, and civil rights. Corruption was prevalent during his governorship. The end of Reconstruction. The Ku Klux Klan was originally organized after the Civil War, and it aimed mainly at weakening carpetbag rule and discouraging blacks from voting. D.P. Upham in Woodruff County, the town of Augusta, organized strong resistance to the KKK in the late 1860s. By 1874, Arkansas and other former Confederate states returned to the control of pre-war white leaders and their practices. Suppression of civil liberties for former slaves was enacted in a series of laws across the South known as the Black Codes. The codes limited opportunity for blacks until the civil rights movement of the 1960s. Sharecropping. Former slaves and poor whites often became tenant farmers or sharecroppers. Landowners contracted with them to work their plantations. A variety of tenant farming, crop lean agriculture, required the tenants give up part of their crop yield in payment for house, rent, food, seeds, and other debts. Periodic poor crop years tended to place tenants further in debt, in a vicious cycle from which it was hard to escape. This was known as sharecropping and dominated agriculture in the state until modern technology largely replaced manual labor after World War II. That's the end of this lecture.